ranju mimba chesi de ta so ngana ge ne sim majivas sim gyöns na re da nambe shune jene ne nyumo divas gyöns shigwa ba tu da ngana choya na la ya nezu mongbo je majivas go re wa tende ge ne sim 마시와 마투와 마rumwa ne tendege ne sim ki chele ta dugja yuni ge rigdozo meusaya ge tawlam dela ane jinso phajin drugs cheje ta nangbe shungna ne de mixe tebo chumbu chu shungna ne de sabo shegi wa resro joking no
Something happening, huh?
don't don't worry Peter. Oh, you had double teaching. You had double teaching.
Yeah, it's from just now.
No, you can turn up, come a little. Today talking. Oh, better. Don't worry.
Don't go suge. Don't love ge.
More better. Only needing. Concern needing.
Okay.
Tentacunin so the movie. 야, 당에 막 그게 시기시 제일 주란도 계주들하는 뒤라. 대단하다. 지소 파진 투디 네 란유민 바체와 스디다. 스스로 유민 바체와. 디나네 다 단당면서 삼대행이로 진바 주변에서 준비 아니 삼대행스다. Something the Kadu shake your that dinner kissing on the Nizu Kosage, the Dosimber, the Tiring mixes or the Maranzo to you. That's him, Jonas Mongoji emotion zero. Tendeg regular, Donachia, Tomlandela, Shinegi body. There's a John to come Jatuna, and Yahweh Resra.
So we've been looking at these 6 perfections, which are the means to mature your own mind, your mental continuum, in terms of the minds that are mistaken or afflicted and have faults. In Buddha Dharma, we call these disturbing thought obscurations or afflictions. In the context of this life, anything that makes the mind upset or perturbed, so that those negative behaviors are pacified, so that the mind is made peaceful, to remove those faulty states and make them no more. The means in the context of Buddha Dharma are these 6 perfections, 6 paramitas, to mature your mind. And in that context, we've been looking at them in the past classes, particularly this one of the paramita of concentration, or single-pointed concentration. So there's giving, ethics, patience, perseverance, concentration. And in terms of concentration, it is good to cultivate calm abiding, because we need to have a means to be able to deal with our various states of mind and pacify them.
제단다 치코나 시네 세도 로 시라니 아니면 심 초다 아니 심야 심베 한 투두탄에서 하장 심이 다딩상도 망고질라 depression 도 라우다 다도데 베디 청와 투보다 청월에 도여와 chongole do sim ji nuba be nyamje wa ne ji khanla ya ing min jo wa le geja shin ma tuni tin de la ga chin ma tuni khala san ma tuni mi ga je de do
Yeah.
ta do zo sim bet ma tip song be ma sa song le wa ai mi ga je de bet de sim ya par je wa do ya de mang ta je ta mi mang cha la sim 초와 디 강이 차야 sim 디 남인 체타네 봐 하고 디 딩상 소셜 미디어 다 가와다 이제 다 아니 소셜 미디어 찍고 말해 가와가 재무제네 봐 근데 게임제 이제 제제 근데 로충하다 차와 세진민도 하디 미망골라디 애딕션도 차지 디 오도zo 초와로 봐 도저베 초 차와로 초 하장 초 고버로 봐 고버디 고버라고 봐도 되자게 차다고 그 되자게 차도 될라 게임당 소셜 미디어당 도저라 착착착왜 착심이 여러 착심이 장만셔도 네가 이거 축제다 아니 되네 lula naza soya, ming newa soya. Ani mi di social media dan game mango tani mi di kubo da cha ro da, ge ji da xie min jo. Game ge min jo, ge ji xie min jo cha ro da. O den de ge ri di pa xi wa so re da. Xi xie di ci tin du ji le yo ma re wa. Xi xie di xi xie di le yo ma nang be sen. Da de inji ci le tanda kamo baading di pejeen di mendo lakja ke mendo tazo tanda di karla ge yana mendo tanda pewe tsikla shi ne tsikni yore shi siya di hajan ge tsikdi nana tanda mangbo chik dude yore sirwa
So in terms of that concentration then, or calm abiding, in Tibetan the two words shi ne means to pacify the two types of mind, the one that gets overly excited, or secondly, the one that gets too dull. This second one, where the mind is withdrawn and goes in, can lead to depression. In a way, these dull or depressed states of mind are worse than the aforementioned excitement, because if the mind is too dull and sunken in, then the mind has no interest in doing anything, or the mind has no potency. You don't want to talk to others, you don't feel like working or eating. These are all extremes of mental dullness or depression. And in some cases, people even lose their mind. But most people are suffering from the other one, where the mind gets too up or discursed, or we would say distracted, particularly in the prevalent days with social media, and amongst that, phones, using the phone excessively, playing games and so forth. And it's not just talking about young generation here, all generations are privy to that. So this type of discursion is a gross level of excitement, which is really like a branch of desire. When you desire these distractions and entertainments and you get attached to them. And what it does is, if you're using your devices, is that it can affect your eyes. And then longer term, it can affect your mind. It can kind of dull you so that you're not interacting with those around you. So this word shine or shamatha, the first part of it, shi, meaning to pacify or to subdue. There's a lot to be taken from that.
다 내래디 아니 미고지가 신내어들 봐 네 시디 네 미고 유지가 신내지 돼야들 다시는 안서 심리 유지가 되음도 가서 골라 죽도도 봐
The second part of the meaning of shamatha or shine, the ne means to set or place the mind single-pointedly. But that's difficult for us. We cannot place our mind single-pointedly on an object. our minds are scattered.
다딜라 나란조 니 레탕보 서울에 나란조 저왜 디 곰시 차야라야 제가 정나다 베 니마레레 아니 지가마 주정아 뉴슈딘데 고미베 완전 디진단다 우중 탕을 야기와 다라나 베 베전셰제 니 야기이나 아니 셈 템보 차야다 셈 남도 시도를 펜도 쉬어져래서 다디 카시야 인지 민지게 다고 주나다 제들에 다든지 주주 단지 야고 요래 나데 매비네 아니 코페 가서 그래 kumshi soje so tu lega chisa jiyo ba lega de ga simne wa soje ba lega de ga simne wa chi ne de ani shine duya ge tamlan ro cho go be na zo ta na nga ge ji she ge na ye ge simde nge ge ji she ge ju ji gan de go re ge ju na de duya ga na de to na shenyi de ju shi de ga de to me na ya wo yong go re gyurni de ga ne 다 저런 암조 년년에서 이네 어디 가르치기도 들어와 도나체네 데 가르치기도 다 가르치려고 유나 삼제도 도나 체제 다게가 심디 데도시 이제 당당한 데도이나 대한도 셈바 템버 차기 kum시 직가다지 차대게 여러 가지 대 탑람직 레저 셈바 템버 차기 탐람 수수 간래가 지야 다른 거는 심이어서 이상에 되게 단도 공자도 심 다다고 그러네 공대 배전체 대전체 개고요 가서 다 kum시속으로 하더라
Now, as beginners, best case, we can make our meditation a habit or, become used to that, accustomed to that, to put effort 10 or 15 minutes every day into breathing and breath awareness. And this has the advantage of stabilizing your mind so that you have strong potency and recall, but secondly, pacifying your mind of discursive thought. Well, it's very good if you can do that. If not, it would be fine to make it a habit at the workplace, meaning that whatever you're doing in your work, you place your mind there. So, for example, I'm talking now and I'm focusing single-pointedly on what I'm saying or expressing, and the interpreter does likewise. So there's that going on, but also you as listeners, when you listen, you are thinking, okay, when focusing, placing the mind, what is being said? And just this is a method to make the mind stable. This is one method to stabilize mind. This is why I'm always mentioning the benefit of placing the mind in the present moment.
다드네 저런서 만원서 정말 내가 지고 와 내가 내공 내가 지고 있는데 아니 도와지 다 내가 가르치고 있나요 와 내공이나래 롭데기이나래 긴고다 되어 지고 있나래 명간은 내가 지고 있나래 아까셔서 난게 내가 지고라 내가 지어서도 인지민지게 라제 연이를 내지 지고요 말와 그래서 도와지 고죽 심지엔데로와 따따도 지금 이나래 기나래 망바이나래 주이나래 라이나래 다 된데라 칼라데고라다 아니 나라지 강바장모 써야래 다 가리네 내가 지고라 나는 상물을 내가 제대로 근데 내가 집에 가둘라 수수 쌤데 내가 대가는 쌤 내어 치지로 다른 거는 쌤 내어 치지 내가 다가는 쌤 내 두이나 아니 내가 될라야 되래 제주니어를 와 찍디 샘바덴보디 차야 심 다다고 가는 애야 편도 전부 쉬어도 kom지 차네 아니 편도직도 니와데 가려나서나 심디 내가 되 가는 애인데 아니 처럼라 대용 거를 가서 녀수대 거를 또 녀수대 거를 가서나 투주 먼저 그 뭐지 내가 지금 깔려 가야 돼 가려서는 류지 내가 대 지원데 쌤데 가가 걸어서 직심대 지야로다 Dewe nezu majiwa to ya tende ro ta. Yang de zambuling nezu duja to zola ta. Chi kashe lega chige chige she sanju nyende do. Sanju na ni ya ji she yo maro. Ane kashe ni so so ge togo tomo yen yen ge gyan to so ka dong de ro de. Lu ge lega chige chige sim de do ring nge za kan sam dan ji do de ra. Ane kale kha de ga. Chazanda de mayin bache simdi ludi is de gona simdi netwe de lega khan chewa de ngezu te go wa pena peje shadra amda mi mangboji di khazore chemo khalap de ludi she 당시 탑두 장 ngezu te bara boji kiwo yong go yo be chosha go kharchin sha go 당스 타면 내가 고 셰데 잉팔제 심데 베 다가나라 스튜라다 고베 당스 부 당스 타게 심데 디나라 슈데데 디즈링가 베 수수수 김나샤 가서는 심 내주 도가디게 텐주고야 말아 수수수 기울어지나샤 아니 어디 야고도스 아니 가시 창동이야라 창지동도 창그 도와드제 아니 창그 라로지 시운디 내주 도가디게 temba제데 어디 야고도 텐고라 데 단단 먼저 검자데 진데 클럽들에 나라 dan스 타서 도와당 차라 동을에 야가여 원해시나디 심디 그래서 가는 레가로 지기나 매도 닌저 같은데 요래 짠데 타야 짜증나 따위나 짜고란에 체조 먹고 통해도 주문이야도 갈라다야도 린동다야도 못다야도 알아 근데 다데 아니 미든데기 가든 레가 지니데 가든 레가 지니 심나 디기용 거 그래서 네 심데 레가 칸치스 내도나 아니 스틸 심 때문에 공지해야 돼 답시 다른 애시도 내고요 레스로
This case then that we all have a task to do. Some of us work in offices, others work with, colleagues with old people in hospitals, whatever your job is, and not just working for a living, but also sometimes at home, we do certain tasks. For example, we help animals, we feed them, feed the birds, feed the ducks, clean the house. In all of that, what's important is that you can place your mind right there, single-pointedly on whatever task you're doing. This has two benefits. The first benefit, if you can do that, is that the mind becomes stable and you're able to abide in the present moment. Second benefit is that you give your mind a rest from all of the thought, because normally what we're doing is our body might be working, but our mind is all over the place. Our mind is distracted. Some people even work, and as they work, they're listening to the news, while they're working, and that news can often be negative, so they're distracted by that. And or when they're working, they're talking about their friends' stories and agendas and all of that. And all of this goes to make the mind exhausted. But if you can give the mind a rest from that. And I think this is why when people go to dances and listen to music and dance, they're so focused on the sound of the music, it gives their mind a rest from feeling negative or being negative. And then for some people, that makes them happy. And then for others, it could be alcohol that allows them to forget their problems. But actually, when you think about it, meditation is better than both dance and alcohol as a means. And then for those that, for example, just taking care of a garden, being aware of the plants, being aware of the soil and so forth, the various conditions in the garden can give your mind peace. And, just just having that stability of being present and doing those tasks, that itself is a method for concentration.
그래서 먼저 멍멍보지 먼저 변나 세라드바이나 근데 미국 직강을 공자 시대체에 kum시시다 요말해와 엄마 만차다 로존시야 kum시 주정벌에 이나에 더 만차 선바템보 쇼죠 봐. 더 빼자 다니면 저 선바템보 빼요 너 근데 로스 탄다 지 신의 공문인데 배제 양년 뉴뉴뉴뉴래 가셔요 아 뉴뉴래 이내 빼자 신이 많은 차데 선바데 빼된 거요 지상에 대다제 제도다 말하는 베지단 이유라 가르치는 레돌라데 먼저 쌤디 베제다에 가돌라 베제나는 주르고 따라와 그럼 베제디 따베 내가 쌤 상만 베제나는 주제 되고라 베차샤나 베제 겨려야 돼 차샤는 거 주주 내가래 말하냐면 베제신 롤신 겨로라 우메지는 우마고 베제저래 주구 자다 뉴시당 봐야래 근데 신이다 아 신이 겨로 맞는데 제로라 아 팀마치 되는 애 주구 숨주제 권다를 주주니제 주주 숨즈인데 겨는 샤고래라 팀마치 아 주주 숨겨네 대전직 샤고 되래라 코마 겨르됐다 겨드 신디다 베제나라마 로자그라 거라 로인디장가라 요게 권다 주주 개원네 저게 주주 두고사 거라 주주 두고라 네 저게 초단 거 강화동 거라 당서라 강화단데 가래 다데 라 디메시지게 심상모 되는 거 줄다고 주제 주주 가져르다다 주주 주마즈 지시라 주주 개원에 보고 주주 중니라 주주 둘라데 주주 주세지 심디 로샤 되는 베지죠 저 로샤 저거도 그요 말에 진배 보고요 말에 자기예요 말이다 제가 내가 미신다 연구를 마땅하라나 된대게 양료 예스로 같은 거 같은데 팀마 하셔야지 말하는 게 삼나 주주 숨겨는 시작이니로 주주 숨겨는 나참 주주 개원에 그거 주지랑 시작이니 가서는 주지랑 저 차던 거래 그거도
Gondola.
아 주지랑 저거에서 차던 거 그래서 아니 나그 심데 빼져나라 쇼디 자동이야 전부 제자라 저거 주주 죽어서 어디 로도 하는데 제가 심디 그런 가시에 곰 잘되는지 미지 소소할 때 돼지고 레면다고 어딘데 요 요래스로
And in relevance to giving the mind a task to do and placing the mind single-pointedly in the monastery in Sera, where I studied in India, actually most of the monks don't train in calm abiding proper, meaning, most of them are not training to get out, to get the shamatha, but because they are doing a lot of memorizing the Tibetan, the Buddhist scriptures, when they're doing the memorization, the mind is single-pointedly focusing on that. So there's one text that is like a general commentary on the Middle Way, which is about 120 folios or 120 pages. And what we do is we memorize, say, 30 pages every day, and then we recite it. So you might memorize for 2 hours every night, and you have a kind of certain number of pages that you memorize and then recite. And then one night I set out to do, I thought I'll do 3 hours of memorizing this text. And it was interesting because I start like at 8 p.m. But then I got so kind of focused on the text that I went for 10 hours, and I heard at 6 o'clock the next morning, there's this gong that goes, to call us to puja, and that went. And I thought, that's interesting. I was so involved in memorizing and reciting this text. I didn't get hungry. I didn't need to pee. I didn't get cold. This is just my own experience that I'd thought I'd do 3 hours because you see, normally midnight, all of us monks, we'd get together and have a tea, but I was so focused on the text, I even forgot that. So, you know, what I'm sharing is that some people think that meditation is just sitting formally in a posture, but it's not like that. Meditating can have many forms, of which this is one.
제가 딜라 디야고용야라 아니 나게 뒤에 단단한저 등산당한저 6B라 B6나라 awareness 신신 자르셔야더라 시신게 수를 내가 가는 지거요 되라 심샤야 되라 디 샤그도 민도 따고로 아니야로 제산디 다다 정랑저 내가 가르치기요 되게 가라 슈갸도미나 아니 내가 돼 야고차 sembaye tembocha 아니 네가는 심야고네 내가 되가는 심야고네도 저한테 레군게 내가 가리나래로 대가는 심데 네토비나 내가 제산이 르나데스 갈레 가그래 내가 저거로 와 이나 심라 갈레 가주 파샤는 예수티 그래 가서나 네 당기 시에 방어서 심 갈레 가야지 균생 같이는 갈레 가거든 먼저 심데 네게티브 건데 많다 그래로
Yeah.
이제도 갈레 가고 simply lege kana shashana the negative scheme aro go ko duma derwa dige ani simlang esu tigo ro jesa odi tapshi ji 그래서 나도 간 내가 지금 어디 공간을 키트비나 tuzu lost them or che ya woda ro
And therefore, when I share these 6 Bs, one of them is be aware, and this be aware is like a introspection or a guarding alertness, where you're aware, are you focusing or not? Are you in the present moment or not? And this has 2 functions. One is that whatever job you do, you'll do the job well. And then secondly, as a result of that single-pointed focus, you will gain mental stability. Normally, when we work, and if you're able to do this, okay, so the body gets tired, but the mind rests, so you're not mentally tired. Normally with us, our minds get exhausted because our minds are so full of negativity, negative things, because the mind goes down like a negative path. But if you give your mind a good task to do and you train in that, then there's no way the mind can go down this mistaken or negative path.
다드네 먼저 미망고지게 셈디다 가스굴라 교도도 잠잡도도 서로 안데다 간데스 까오레스 데 만차르다 또 곰자니 만차르 강에시 쇼어데요 셈디 가스굴라 교친지 라무게치로 안데 다 망고지게 까야라 베전시고로 남도 스나레 심디 가자 굴라 교도도 데까지 아니 심 요번데게 스스마지오르신 소 나와샤 데까야 베전시고로 다데 까야라 베전시야요 말이로 까두 말에 내가 지금 까드웨요 말에서 löje 그래서 거라
Now, there is most people in terms of their meditation practice, the biggest difficulty they have is how to stop all the mental chatter, all of the mental discursion. And some people put great effort to stop that. But you should not put too much effort into trying to stop thoughts.
They have very good example. You know, our mind looks like monkey. You know, monkey a little bit crazy monkey. Looks like. And then you can dealing with this monkey. They have two choices. Number one is you need to fight with this monkey, and number two is you need to trick this monkey. Number one is fighting, it's become crazy. And then number two, you need banana. Give a banana for monkey. Then monkey can eat banana, no jumping. This is a example. I love these two examples. Banana looks like our mind, meditation, breathing meditation, concentration, whatever your job you mentioned before. And your more awareness, your what you're doing, talking, listening, cooking, walking, and especially study, driving, driving, no mindfulness, and then you got ticket, last 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I got ticket. I talking with my friends, I lose concentration. Two friends we trading, and I didn't look my this kilometer. Immediately, police light is on there. I checking 95. Oh, for me, this one is just short term. I lose my concentration. I got ticket. The yellow dera, yellow dejana, pula. The actual is color ten.
Best thing is to give the monkey a banana.
제가 나디 인도 다 검자야 다 우중 검자야 돼 장가자야 돼 약수를 내가 심다도 가나 셔야 돼 당기 셔야 돼 그래서 심다도 가나 샤나한테 다 당기 건셔야 나시 주주 내가 가 지고요 되거나 심 다디 태자 많이 봐 태자 많이 봐 내가 지고요 되거나 심 샤워 짱 많이 봐 아니 꿀롱데 내가 지워디 신라 팬도 치도 인세 다들라 마살라 디스카오레
Yeah. So then, as I mentioned, giving the mind a job to do, breathing meditation, counting the breath, allowing the mind to be in the present moment. This is done, whatever task you're doing, one should have no doubt around this. But not just that, not just placing the mind in the present moment, but having the motivation to help others. And you've got to put in a bit of masala.
군원디 셴뱅게와 내가 칸치게요데 뒤중한도 내가 지게요데 그런저 망보직 배샤 비치를 내가 지고라
Yeah.
아니 배샤 내가 매위네 콜라 레와지 expectation도 스테이지로 내 대파디 채나 말아디 추용그레서 싫어 레와지 돈에 지기요라 레베기 돈에 내가 지야 돼 수수수 마지부서 그러거든 소고도 하대 봐 데데 나데 먼저 상막에 데도 삼당나 냠뇨인 그래 그래서 낭밀해야지 칼라로스 컴바장모로스 둘러로 뒤치고요나 배나 부구도 전에지 뒤치고요나 아니 대체 레워들이야 지 주님바라야다 야 님바마라야나 오 도지체세 베드 저랑 베가딘 체스스로 틱긴 투질림부로 라야다 딘데게 레와 요위나 아니 수수게 밀라 펜도체베 레가 되게 수수마기 왔어요 산산라 미디어 신념바 테그레 산산라 테그마레 님바마데나 콘도직사그라 아니 다 도지체스 저랑 야고두시 라베아 그래와시디 라비나 데 말람나 양콘도 사그로 세상 데 수수게 내가 제거데 군론데 레와이버데 수수마기 버서도 세상 펜 더야 되라 아니 지 군론 내가 지야 돼 직직데 레군게 내가 만져데 배샤게 지거라 배샤래 매우치 능미당 톡보당 토모당 된데글 거로 원이나 그걸 잡대 레와지어 봐 디니 삼로 디니 마담시 그봐 다 가르당 거에서는 펜토가 바로 그 펜토가 바시기 치디 있어 근데 내가 전에 다 거두고 유매다 거 내단 거두고 유매데 내단 상상의 신고에 개좀 버려와 내가 가지 밀느야 내가 된대이나 수주 마찬가지야 야고요 아니 제자딘데 니 군웅라 따제 전에 군웅데 삼만남다지 내가 그때는 가든 내가 지기나 아니 밀 펜도에 제 고육로 펜도에 와 가든래 고육로 펜도에 여러 케미컬 맞아야다 자제야다 그 자제에 내가 그 무드도 못이고 해야 지라 지주 여러 번 내가 신변천은 쉬어 지기도 안 들어 그래서 뒤인데 어 내가 지와 뒤가는 셈디 군론디 아니 신변지 군론 세제 상당도이나 아니 배 야고요 레스로
So, such a motivation behind any job or task should be altruistic, that we're concerned for others' welfare to help them. Normally when we do a job, we are doing it because we get, we're thinking to get paid for it in terms of wages. If not that, then somehow there's an expectation or an agenda behind our motivation that if we do this, we'll get this back. And if we don't get repaid in kind, we get upset. So this can be even if you're doing something on the family level, cooking food or cleaning, and or if you give a gift to someone, you could expect that that's reciprocated. Or that when you give something, someone thanks you. And if you don't get that reciprocated, that's the condition for you to get upset. It can be, because sometimes they may repay or give you a gift back, but sometimes they may not. And if they don't thank you for your gift, you could get upset. But actually, the motivation should not be to get something back. So there are these two kind of situations that our intentions should be free from. One is that it should not just be that we're doing the job for money. The second one is that with our friends, we should not think that if we help them, they'll help us back. The motivation, it's important that the motivation is solely to benefit them. And further, over and above that, when you set your intention, it's good to have some idea, okay, so what's going to help the person and what could harm them? It's good to have to try and have that wisdom as well. And then if you do something like a gardening job with the correct intention, you can benefit many beings, by not using harmful chemicals or being aware of the environment. You can take it to that level as well.
when I was studying at monastery and I had funny motivation I started and then I had lost the competition with the other student and then I want to try to defend the motivation. I can't. I'm very strong compare other students. Need some beat them better the games. And if you have like this kind of motivation, my mind is not really happy. Not really happy. And I went to a teacher and I asked teacher, I have this terrible motivation learning. This is Buddhism, but I have very negative competition and the competition very strong. Sometimes looks a little bit of jealousy or competition. Lots coming there negative with the start. And I said, this is a Buddhist start. And I have lots negative coming together. And he is laughing. And he said, Okay, you need to change your just motivation. Motivation was he telling like that. I want learning this Buddhism. Start and learning subject. For because for benefit for future, and I can teach more other people. Share more benefit, and then your relative, who's my connection, sharing for benefit for them, without the expectation, thank you or some give. He makes some clear guide for me, and I did that. I did that, and then as soon as my mind is less upset and no jealousy, and I see my other classmate, I have more happy. Before I had competition, jealousy. Some classmate I don't want to see. I don't want to talk because I had competition in my mind. This is a very clear show of motivation making. Big difference. Move to your mental attitude. Therefore, I think motivations need very clear and sincere and without expectation. And I think it's most this important in your life, on our life, because uh, we do lots of things, but for benefit for people, your parents, your friends, your society, community, working very hard. And you motivation, for example, mother, mother look after children, and mother has strong expectation and look after children, and future they look after me. You have strong expectation, and they grow up, especially Western. Here, I see Lord, after the 18 years old, children gone, and parents become old, and children said, oh, now you are on time, go to restaurant. And they're disappointed because your expectations were strong. She didn't look after me and when I was old. And then you have strong expectation. And they have lots of pain in their heart from your children. This where you come like this strong mind upset because your expectations were strong, putting energy there. I met two men here. They said, I did big mistake in my life. I did everything in for my children. I put my money, energy, time, everything. And then now they said, now you need to go to the rest home. I don't want to go rest home. This is, and they said, now I want to learn meditation. He was so weak, looks too late learning meditation. But I try a little bit, but this one is experience. Another experience, I went to rest home in Billingen. I think 70 years, 80 years ago. And then we have some friends see there, and there one another old man, and he's cry, and I give some hand and give some pet and some flower, and and the nurse says nobody see him, nobody, and he has lost problem, said that, and I talked with some cup of tea with him, and he told us he has 4 children. And then exactly he said, I put everything in money, time, energy, everything's for children. And now I'm old. They send me in the restaurant, and they never call me. They never send me text message. They never visit me. I think this is a big mistake. I look after my children. He said, this kind of I check where's come from this situation because this was for me very shock news. I analyze where's come from there, where's come from there. He has strong sadness, and talking this experience in life. I think he motivations very strong because he look after children. He think when I was old, they look after me. He has very strong this expectation. And now after that, she didn't know look after him, and he was so upset. This is I show you this is the real life. You know, we have you have something. Don't put expectation. Just benefit for them, and the children lives better. You know, just put their energy, everything you can. Of course, parents look after children, but I think better to no expectation. The same in monastery, we have student, and we look after student, and then without expectation, you have been sincere. That's more powerful. Recently, I went to Wellington, and their shepherd family, and the shepherd family, they look after one Western man, old man. He name is Bruce. They they're not relative blood, you know. He was Kiwi, other one is Sharva, and Sharva family, and he live together. He told me yesterday, he's 84, something like that. He driving to me, and he telling, and he said, I'm so lucky because this Sharva family look after very well family. He's so happy. He said, if those people not here, I can't leave this big house. I can't look after. And then he said, and I have lost loneliness feeling, you know. And he said, I don't have loneliness feeling. I'm so happy. And then he telling me this story. I think they have lost the story. I can make short story, man point. And first he has bowel cancer. He went to Nepal, and then he saw this shepherd family. There's so many children, and then one they want to help their one children and then benefit for their parents. They're sincere. He said, I don't have expectation, motivation. I look after now this shepherd boy, and future they look after me. I don't have motivation, you know, no zero expectation. But now he parents look after me. He said, this is wonderful. Sometimes without expectation, a sincere helping more powerful. If you have expectation and then something nothing cheap, you're disappointed, you know, and loss upset coming month. I think this is we learning just thinking, motivation, and background, what kind of expectation you must check is more very important. Oh, talking too much. Now we will do meditation. Okay, now gom jaw ra. Gom di gulong gom jaw ra. Ta di tanda tagarang re. Tirine se lu nga yi sung wone. Ini shen la pendo bashik chigi yin se, bashik se di. Ta pewe sik la kona se wore. Ila ya expectation rewa ta. Inde nge pa di chen nga di tsuyung gure se awi. Sama yo ma re da. Pendo wa bashik di pe nuwa chenpo re. Nuwa chenpo tanda nge pe she songa de. Di yin du nga zo di kom chik ya wo se rwa. Tiring ne song ni lu nga ke chao kanga che wa. Lu nga yi sung chao kanga shen la pendo bashik chigi yin. Tambe kone. Gulong ya wo che shu asirwa. La kom ya wo se.
So in our meditation, we'll set the intention that today the actions of my body, speech, and mind will solely benefit others. This means that when you give something, that you don't expect to get anything back. This is very potent. So may the actions of my body, speech, and mind only benefit others.
어야 다 가오금 나 드린 나디 이제 심바 장마 심바 니가 침보는 데 연이 여러 그런 제가 공디 전제 가오금 스와
Now, rejoicing that one has that thought to benefit others, and that is the reality. We just generated that altruistic intention. It is potent. Rejoice in that.
어야 당도 룽종 범자인다로 저는 저 개와 동부대 야간 대이 쓰는 개와 동부대 개와 동부대는 심 당마 차는 거로 검자도 심 당마 차는 검자도 누가 침부 차는 거로 제가 디인도는 우그 당로 오렌지 배수분한 차다 제가 수天的当做的那的了亲了的让那这个亲了噻等你家是加油了 labi jun sawa tende su gu na tsu yung tege ne lu mi jik ma dewa tu shido ya to kechi yu gom ja de sim gi gange se rwa sim na la ngam da thokba ma jiwa tende yu na tu zba shido ya de pa dang de de zeri jun ge de tu sang pa ten song tenje odo se ne gom de jam shi asra
So now, breathing exercise, make sure your posture is straight. Because in the context of meditation, if the posture is straight, relaxed, and upright, the mind is clear. And as you gently breathe in long breaths, be aware of the breath pervading all of the body, from the head down to the soles of the feet. So also when you breathe in, you are breathing in like a blessing or a potency or a vibration that fills the body, so that any physical tightness or defect, physical defect on the out breath is expelled. But more importantly, that the mind is free of any excessive thoughts and stress and anxiety and so forth.
어야 당저 곰디 잡차디 네스스 류어의 당과 심다 개치셔야 심디 당마 당마다냐 차서저 이지치고래서
Mhm. Having said like that, what's important is that you have conviction, not so much that your body is relaxed, but your mind is lucid and clear.
어야 다디네 욱데스 조스 다저와 근데 곰잡이운디 나가라 심나라다 마르 팅우도 남도 다들 이건 시행 봐 단다디 심디 비우나시레스 가와이나 첨도레스 다 비울어야 겔라데션은 그 겔라사제 데데라 겔라사주 가가 데셔도 비우디 디나시행 건 심들레 니 우중 당가제 곰데다 겔라나시레스로 디 통화 주당 즉 데스 쪽당 Des Jostan to Yule Udan Des Jostan to Dong Padan Shevaton Jig to Dong Padan Ni Sum Shi Si those Jije Nitanga Sumje Sumsho Sar Sumjan Gucharora Guchasna Tanga Samsha Simpona Nedan Kandej to Da Shidena Yawiris.
Now, for counting cycles of breath, we're going to make the breath a little bit quicker, a little bit more shallow. And this has the advantage of pacifying discursive thought. As we mentioned, the mind is full of chatter. We likened it to the monkey mind. And to subdue that monkey mind, we give the monkey a banana, similar to that. To pacify discursive thought, we count the cycles of breath. That's food for the mind. So we begin with the breaths being a little bit quicker. And we go, now I'm breathing in, now I'm breathing out, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. That's 3 rounds. And we do those 3 rounds 3 times, making 9 rounds. Make sure the breaths are a little bit quicker.
어야 다디네 타가 나체와 숨겨와 다딜라 우추당 파당 셰버치고당 당나주 우당도 당가 우파당도 근데 격스 당샤나 심나 ten야지 고란슈도 매우 차도 어디 전 당나주 숨겨나 정말 차로 정말 차스나는 아니야 참샤 아니야 심고는 컨데스도 다 지디스테셔스
Now, doing 5 cycles of inhalation, exhalation, a little bit quicker, which has the advantage of allowing the mind to be present with the breath going in and out. Then at the end of those 5 cycles 3 times. Just rest and observe mind, making 15.
야, 나, 네. 이제 장가 눈치 없으면 되겠다, 와. 지니 순간 당기는 신체. 네. 당 컨디션 나시래. 셈나라 전야다면다. 셈 가수를 교도도나. 우리 교수단한테 계정부래. 교수단한테 장가데 개체슈의 최단 파던 시버체고 시버체도 있는 심들이 대용 거라. 시험마저는 가셔게 당가 접대요 관계라 심다 못다는데 네 장난쇼는 야고요 뭐래. 지상은 중에 된다 숨다가 뒤에 뿌이타고 정도. 뿌이타고 뉴뉴시잖아. 아니 제일에 곰도 뿌이타고 쳐요. 지상 뒤에 지금 삼자는 유지자지 차로라. 유지자지 레스는 참샤야 그런 심디 컨데스도 다시 되지로 되게 되고.
Now doing those cycles, so 7 rounds 3 times make 21. Again, the importance is to make the breath a bit quicker, as that has the advantage of being aware of inhalation, exhalation. One is not just doing it because of the count, one is doing it to be aware of inhalation, exhalation. And as we did before, the point is to be able to do quality 7 cycles 3 times. And when one has done the 21 rounds, just resting and observing mind's nature.
예, 다슨 다다가 중나 되게 뉴시드지 겹사니 셈시와 거기스무도 되게 가나 대두네 야고여다 뒤인처럼 고모 무자니 이너로
Mhm.
다디 람사 대도 말데 데데스 가고여래 아니면은 진로를 된다 지우기다다 그래서 지우다 님보든데도 제가 셈시아 제샤는 되게 되고
Having finished the 21 counts or 21 cycles of inhalation, exhalation, just being able to rest the mind in the present moment in its quiet nature is good if you have experience with that. However, that's quite difficult for us. So we can just focus on the bird song as a reference point, for example, and place the mind in the present moment with that focus.
뭐야 당도 제공직 작업으로 다디 유 그래서 뭐지 다 공자야디 가르치디 작업을 해서는 먼저 쌤디 쌤 당기 먼저 아 지소 파준로데 란주민 바치바레스 당기 라소아 제가 란주민 세디랑 쌤 주어당 쌤 냠바데 쌤 사회실로 주어당 거라 다디 주어당야라 답시 숨 계시셔래 찍디 쌤바 템보서야 와 단단한 공자들 장가자들이 니디 에네 셈바 상고chen 군론 찬주생 군론 신제 아니 군론 제들이 숨바디 셔럽 체제다 열지당 거래 셔럽에 제단들 제공스 거래 아델라 당분간은 제공되라 수수기 교인데 가르도 따와 신나야 거래와 단다 다 대와 라게요 말에 마음바에 라게요 말에 대와라 상단기요 말에 찾아가다 대와디 줄로에 말해와
Mm-hmm.
다다 수수기 아니 견치슈에 가려나 대전이라래 찍디 만나주 룽아게 밀네와 제드레 니디 수수랑 일네와 제드레와 수수기 내가 지다 뭐지 수수마지 왔어야게 kumshin 받는데 여러와 어디니 가르도다 근데 나네 드리네에 찍주었던 게 있어 어떤 걸 렌체네 아니 and kumshin 받찍 주었다는 배전치기나 아니 배 야고요 레스타디 심 주었다게 타마 배 누가 첨벌했어 봐 그러나서 양내 제도만 배 메시지 누가 첨벌했을 때
Now, analytical or reflective meditation. Why meditate? As we mentioned earlier, there are 6 paramitas or perfections that are methods to mature or ripen your own mind. What does it mean to ripen your mind? It means that the mind undergoes transformation. And for this, there are 3 methods. The first one is mental stability, where you count breath to make the mind stable and potent. Secondly, you cultivate an altruistic or a good heart. And thirdly, we want to increase our wisdom. Here, it is this third one, increasing our wisdom, that is analytical meditation. And we do this by firstly recognizing what are our weaknesses, faults, or bad habits. We're not talking about the past here or the future. Past is past, and you can't bring it back. But what we do have to do is be aware of certain actions we do or habits that, with our body and speech, harm others on the one hand, or secondly, harm yourself. Bad habits that you do that let yourself down. So then make the resolve, today I'll do my best to subdue or reduce that habit. And this is, in the context of this life, a very potent form of meditation, reflection. Please reflect on that for a few moments.
Oh yeah, 나디 제금 자야디줄라 시우지기 코가나 삼나단데요 말다 저 저기 견디 하고나 아니 제라다 주거다야 들어와 주거다나 다가 되고 왔다 다 조금라 고뮤트제 자고 그러다 잡제 당은 저 군론제를 비즈니스세들이 단단 장가자야지도 우리 장가자야디 아니 세미니버츠 루루서야 무슨 세미니버 터데야와 어디 네 셈버템버서야 다 곰디 저한테 뒤에 대해서 망스 자tum나 하고 요래서와
So that analytical meditation is not too complicated. You recognize an afflicted state of mind or a fault, and then you work to change it. And, you know, this has the benefit of containing the mind. And the steps we went through were motivation, breathing exercise, and thirdly, counting cycles of breath. This is very important because oftentimes our minds are scattered, and this brings the mind back in so that the mind becomes potentized and stable.
Oh yeah, 다드네 지금 건다 많이 얘가라고들라와 다 저런 먼저 하고 우리 이내에 트랜스fer 아니 디 곰디 갸투네 하고 여러 가시에 대해서 유식을다 제가 다 많이 얘가라고들라 수수 대세기 된다고 유나 대간 소소체 건다 곰자는데 유나 시달 면남자는데 유나 저 되면은 많이 애들이 니 구글라고들라와 네 삼로 드린 레가만 리고 가르가르 차이메 드링 내가 쓰러하다 계산 괜히 다도 상당 말해 계산 괜히 해서 드링이 봐 잠았어요 다 미망보지라 대외 니주기 된데 마주망보 요나 텔라야 고 두주직라 파 최샤체 잠았어요 티 야네 야도 상당지어 말해봐 야네 야도 상당나 아니 심디베 마주잖냐 샤제 샤샤로 미망보지 대외 니주도 자대 가나 배 심디 가지고 있는데 대대도 디 말에 가서 심내야 배는 슈트 세마마지워서 그래 디 먼저 최샤 집에 내가 올라서다 아니 드림 배나디 냐가라고 되나 드림기 내가 되게 삼을 세우셨어요 아니 최샤체 샤고체 산이 미진이 배도 무슨 게 지내 수준이야 개와 채와 땅 곰자와 땅 밀레 펜토바 땅 다른데 그래서 그거 여러 밀레 펜도 그거 여러 튼줄레 펜도야 그거 여러 펜도야 그거 망고 쉬어지 라바디 저런도 지존한 데리 그린다 지존한 미라만 도그라 아니 펜토라데 인지민지 베샤로 때 랍자로 잡시고 요 말아 저런도 저 저거 도모도들라 네 단단히 맞지 네 장상jo 그 곰자에서 봐지 drilling chain dinde ji sam ta do da dinde chi do da sam dinde dan di ji ngu do da sam dinde dan di dinde o dinde sig do pa ji lin je re je wi ne da ran ro a pen to es do ro
Mhm.
dinde ge pen do chi do yi na ani ya wo yo ro da di ni ka gong ni san yin ge de le ge ma chi yin san ani ge wa sa shin yo de mo me na yo wo che 어두 chen ni ma chi ge na ge gong gu do dan ge shirim ge gong gu do na rim ba de res ro di gana su su tyoba tu su yu na gom kya pe mangu yore lo zhung chiya mangu yore gom kya mangu yore nangbe shung na nangbe jana nangbo chi cha nyi na retirement chaya che yo ma re rwa
Mhm.
ma shi sa kwa retire chaya yo ma re pe di chawa na nga doya re rwa di ye ta ngune chi parso gore 카이 라이오기 편도인 요든데 랍자 망보야래로 양 안아서 카시 이슈다 힌두다 카지든데 줄로이나 줄로 교가요 말해 난다 랍자도 렌제 냐면 셰셰네 디고래로
So when it comes to the evening, a lot of you are aware of this practice, but some are new. I will go through again to help us recall that some of you do a formal practice in the evening with your meditation. That's fine. But you can also do this in a more relaxed way. For example, as you lie down to sleep, you can recall mistakes that one has done during the day. Here, it's not so important to go way back and keep dredging up negative things that happened in the past or that you did in the past. I mean, a lot of people do this, and what it tends to do is just make the mind stay in a negative framework. And if you continually bring up negative things, the mind's potency becomes exhausted. You know, you have no potency of mind. It would be more prudent just to think on today, because once you've recognized regret, that's it, you've done it. So if you regret the mistakes of this day and observe them, and then make the resolve not to do it again next day, it is enough. And then conversely, if you've benefited people during the day, benefited humans, animals, society, then benefiting doesn't just mean financially, of course. It could be that you helped others with their practice, or you did meditation, or you heard some things in the teaching and you can help others with advice, timely advice. This is benefit. Yeah, so being able to share things you learn through your study and meditation, this is fine. In that context, if you're a Buddhist, in Buddha Dharma, there's no retirement. There's always something continual to grow and learn with the mind. There's lots of things, lots of methods we can practice. And also, I would say that to do this, you don't particularly have to change the faith that you have. It's just a good idea to try and adopt these methods and practice them. Like, you don't have to change if you're Christian, you don't have to change if you're Hindu. Just continue what you're doing, but adopt this advice and practice.
어야 따뜻한 말한지 나도 개와사요 지난스 되니까 만도 깨듯이 매리 그 구리치니 구리체 안데 내 지역에 그 신변게 당저 군론데 펜바스 미슈지 어디 지금 미망고 주메야로 담게다 주무 차야로 빼샤서야로 근데 총 되네로 비즈니스 소로인데 이어만 군론데 펜바 바시레 제단 데라 개와 요인자 개베 자와디 뭐야 그체 뭐도 컨디치오레 라비나 잠물린 시디요야 당 막루시야 당 미망보지라지 뇌제기 지바테 지카서 오래 칼라마라야 둘로마라야 컴바티브라 소바네 수수 제와이니 미카테로야라 소바다 딘데게 강연지 요데 요신 바로바 한저저 세도야 개지슈데 내가 잠불린 미 참여주라네 참여인지 전주 있으면 줄을 잡으셔 시제네 심팅네 면은 여러 제스네 내야되는 마치까지 되는 심팅네야 면은 잡으셔 아스로
So now we will dedicate the roots of virtues that we've accrued together. I've expressed something, the interpreter's interpreted, and we have listened. You have listened. So, think that, we made this motivation not just for monetary or not just for name, not just for fame. We tried to intend that our actions would benefit others. May our actions only benefit others. So those virtues we dedicate, that the world is in peace, that there is no fighting, wars, and that people have worries around these things like food, having enough food, having a place to stay, being separated from loved ones. Most important, we dedicate and pray that love and kindness and compassion are produced in beings' minds, that they cultivate bodhicitta. I will do some verses to that end, and please dedicate likewise.
나서는디 탐제시 바이 본본들이 균균자된데 가다나나 치외라 시외설에도 쇼 여와디에 유대다 라마 선제도 도와지야마 대살고 쇼 찬제와단 취제샤와단 제지유란 고예소 여와중세다 예제서 탐제조의 신주진봉모 취지여와 정말 제제는 바베와는 예제 마셔와도 된제물을 자쇼 전조심절은 뭐지 마제바나니 유지 여원여바메와 오늘 건데 배워라쇼 저와군도 연달마다 주미치 배로 사단란 예내는 도제전제 공부하니도 쇼 된주